Then we'll begin. Hi, my name is Renee Hobbs, and today's date is January 24th, 7 p.m. Welcome to EDC 534 Digital Authorship. This fully online graduate course is part of the Graduate Certificate in Digital Literacy. And tonight I'm joined by Barbara and Sherry, Cornelia, Denise, Mary, David, Jamie, Angie, Pat, Adam. And there's Matthew. Hi, Matthew.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you? Thanks for joining us tonight. Okay, so you guys, our first job today is to introduce ourselves to each other. And I thought the best way to do that would be simply to go by, it's the beginning of the year, it's January, so we'll go in order of who's having the next birthday. So that would be anybody whose birthdays are coming up either at the end of January in the next few days or in February. Do we have any February birthdays coming up?
I'm in February.
Angie, introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself. Give us a little life story a little bit, and maybe something you're looking forward to for your upcoming birthday in 2018.
Oh, okay. So my name is Angie, and I'm a 4th grade ESL teacher in Cranston. And my birthday's going to be February 29th, which doesn't exist this year, but I'll celebrate on the 28th. Yeah. And let's see, what else can I tell you?
Do you technically only have birthdays every 4 years?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's cool now. When I was younger, I hated it. I was like, what the heck? But what am I going to do? We're going to Scotland for my birthday because it's a big birthday this year. And can't wait.
Wow, that was a good kickoff, Angie. Thank you for introducing yourself to us. Okay, anybody else have a birthday in February? Okay, we go into March. Who's got a birthday in March? Okay, who's got a birthday in April?
I have a birthday in April.
Oh, good show. David, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're looking forward to for your next birthday.
Sure. Dave Antico. I'm actually in the military, so doing this program as just an additional course to my adult education program that I am at URI. Military does a lot of online stuff, so trying to bolster what I have and how we can take this and apply in that realm. Nothing really planned for my birthday. I will be in school, so with a wife, 2 kids, and a dog, they keep me busy.
So you'll have a regular birthday, but
Yes,
it will be a happy one with the dog and the kids and the wife.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice, wonderful. We're so glad you're in the class. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for joining us. Okay, so any other April birthdays?
I have a birthday in April.
Okay, introduce yourself to us, please.
So my name's Cornelia Trahan, and I'm in the adult education program with David. And I'm very, very excited to be a part of the digital literacy certificate program because I've been watching it, circling it for about a year. And so finally this is my end. So it's very exciting. And I just know that I'm going to learn a lot, and I just can't wait to get started. So it's nice to be here.
We're glad you're here. And you have any great plans for your upcoming birthday?
Yeah, I might go to Paris. We'll see if that's going to happen, but there's been hints that could happen. So fingers crossed, I'll let you know.
Wonderful. Asher, I see you have joined us. Nice to see you, my friend. We're introducing ourselves by our birth dates, and we've done February, we've done March, we've done April.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're looking for May birthdays. Is anybody born in May? Anybody a June birthday? Interesting. How about a July birthday? Okay,
I'm July.
Mary, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your identity, your career, and tell us about your hopes for your next birthday.
Okay, well, my next birthday is a long way away, but I would probably spend it in Quebec province. I like to go up there for my birthday. And I am a PhD student at UNH, and I finished all my UNH classes, so I'm just tagging on the certificate in digital literacy. And I am an English professor. I teach in a community college and in a 4-year undergraduate college in the state of New Hampshire. And so that's what I do.
Wow, wonderful. We're glad you joined us. We're imagining that great Quebec birthday. Obviously, writing a PhD is not the easiest thing in the world, but we're glad you're joining us for the digital literacy and for the digital authorship class. This definitely will give you a chance to make cool things related to your topics of interest. Okay, so that was a May birthday, right?
July.
Oh, July. Okay, cool. Anybody else in July? Pat. Welcome, Pat. We're introducing ourselves by talking a little bit about our life and our career and our hopes for our next birthday. You're next.
Well, yeah, my July birthday, I actually was at the Summer Institute last year for it, and I think my birthday's right after this year. My job and role is an instructional technology coach in a middle school. And in Virginia, that means I do a lot of technology with the teachers and the students, but then I also end up having to do a lot of testing on the side. So
cool.
We're planning a big birthday next year when I turn a big 50, so I'm not worried about this year so much.
Cool. So this will just be an ordinary birthday, but
right.
Next year will be a big one.
In Providence, it'll be fun.
Wonderful. All right, so Pat's talked to us about her July birthday. Anybody else have a birthday in July? August or September? Jamie, August. Introduce yourself to us and tell us about your career, your life, and your birthday.
Absolutely. Can you hear me? Yes? Perfect. I work at a K-3 school. I'm the teacher librarian there. I'm also the department chair of the librarians in my school district. And I am celebrating my birthday in August. I hope to be at the beach when I'm celebrating.
And where are you located, Jamie? Are you here in Rhode Island or are you?
I am in Rhode Island, yes.
Cool. Yep. Well, then there you go. Being at the beach in August, that's the perfect place for us all.
That's right.
Wonderful. Okay, so Jamie's our August birthday. Do we have any other August birthdays? September. Okay, September, that's me. I'm Renee Hobbs. I'm your professor for this class. Right now, I'm here in a hotel room in Brussels, Belgium. So isn't that wonderful? Because we just launched the Mind Over Media in Europe initiative, which is a collaborative research project with three Eastern European countries, Poland, Romania, and Croatia, and 3 Western European countries, France, Belgium, and Finland. And so we spent the last couple of days together thinking a lot about how to teach about contemporary and historic propaganda. And I got to practice making a podcast and trying and failing and trying and failing and, learning on the learning curve of another new technology. So my birthday this year is going to be a big O, one of those big ones. And I expect that there will be champagne. Let me just say that. Okay. So looking forward to my September birthday. Anybody else have a September birthday?
My birthday.
Good show. Hasher, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and your career and your hopes for your next birthday.
Yes. My name is Hajar. I am from Turkey. I am PhD student in Turkey, Istanbul. My field is social studies education, but my PhD about media literacy, especially media literacy teacher education. I came here, I'm in United States, almost 9 months ago, and now I am typing my thesis, and also I have some project. I am lucky because I am working with Renee Hobbs. I think that's all.
Okay.
My
And what about your birthday? What are you hoping for?
my birthday September 3. Yeah, I have 2 birthday, you know. One birthday is official birthday, and other birthday is my real birthday. My real birthday is September 3.
And I have to tell you a very funny story because on Hajer's birth certificate it says December 25th.
Yeah, Christmas.
Unofficial birthday. So wherever she is in the U.S., people look at her driver's license and they go, "You were born on Christmas Day, isn't that sweet?" And she smiles at me because it's only her official birthday.
Many times. It is so good for me.
2 birthdays in 1 year is always a good thing, you know? All right, so
Yeah.
anyone have an October, November birthday?
November.
I have
Good
November
show.
as well.
Beautiful.
I have October.
Oh, look at that. Okay, so October girls, you go first.
I'm Sherry Jackson. I work in a elementary school, K-4, the library media specialist in the Chariho Regional School District here in Rhode Island. I'm at Charlestown Elementary. I'm working on the certificate in digital literacy. I went to the tier 1 of that last summer.
Nice.
I'm going to go to tier 2 this summer. I did the fall course. My birthday will be during the week when school's happening, so I'll try to pretend it's not happening so nobody knows.
Okay, there you go. So you're going to keep it on the lowdown for your colleagues.
Yes.
I can understand that. That makes a lot of sense. Thanks for joining the class. We're glad you're here. All right, so we have any other October birthdays? Are we moving to November now?
November.
Okay, Matthew, introduce yourself to us, please.
All right. So I'm Matt Paiva. I work at Coventry High School in Rhode Island. I am a 9th and 10th grade social studies teacher. I'm also finishing up my master's, and I was doing the certificate in digital literacy, and I decided to finish it all up, got hooked. My birthday this year actually falls on Thanksgiving. So I'll be with family. It happens every decade or so. I was born on Thanksgiving. So every few years happens again. So I'll be around family, typical stuff.
Wow. Yeah, you have to share your birthday with a big holiday, but not every year because of
I just pretend it's a feast for me. Wonderful.
Makes a lot of sense. And you like to be called Sean, Matt, or what?
What's that?
How do you like to be called? Sean?
Matt.
Matt. Okay, good show. Okay, anybody else? November or December birthdays?
I'm November.
Introduce yourself to us, please.
I'm Adam. I teach in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. I'm finishing up a master's program.
And Adam, and where do you hope to be on your birthday?
Well, right here in Rhode Island, I guess.
Okay, we're so glad you're here. Is there anybody else who hasn't had a chance to introduce yourself yet? Okay, so let me share my screen with you and talk a little bit about.
Wait.
Oh, wait.
Wait, you missed me.
Oh, Barbara, I'm so sorry. I knew there was someone that I missed. Barbara, introduce yourself to me and tell me a little bit about your life, your work, and your hopes for your next birthday.
You had asked about someone whose birthday is coming, but mine is 9 days past. So.
Because you're a January girl.
Yes, I am a January girl. Martin Luther King Day. Cool. How nice. He had it first. But at any rate, I'm a K-5 elementary school librarian. And I would love to be in Belgium. I have a son that lives in the Netherlands. He works in Belgium.
Cool.
So lovely place over there. Where would I like to be next year? you know, Rhode Island's okay with me in January.
That's true. It's true. We won't have that much snow compared to people in Chicago.
Right.
So it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'm so glad to have all of you joining in for our synchronous live class. My goal tonight is to introduce you to the class, to go over the syllabus, to talk about the workload and expectations, and to get you both revved up and calmed down about the class, right? So give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen that I'm sharing now that says digital authorship. Good. It looks like most of you can see it. I hope you've had a chance to read the Getting Started page. I suspect you have because you're here, and that's probably how you got here. And of course, we're going to be working through this week's activities, which will be presented every week on a new page. But the first things first is really to open up the syllabus. And so maybe if you're an old-fashioned girl like me, you have printed out your syllabus in paper copy, right? So you have it by your side, but maybe you haven't, and you're just now opening the digital copy. I'm putting the digital copy on the screen right now. So this course really focuses on the idea of digital authorship. So we're thinking about what authors do and how authors share meaning by learning about being digital authors ourselves. For an online course, the idea of an instructor office hour is a kind of a weird anomaly. But from Monday 12 to 1, I'm wide open all the time, waiting for your phone call or your tweet or your email. And other times that are convenient to you and me, we can also meet. And of course, the best way to get a hold of me is through Twitter, because I'm using Twitter 5 or 6 or 7 times a day. But there you see my cell phone number and my email as well, right? So you know that this is a part of the graduate certificate literacy class, and you know a little bit about the way that that is a hands-on, minds-on learning experience where everyone learns from everyone, and where we engage in practices that help us to be leaders in digital literacy. I want to talk a little bit about the rationale for this course in particular, because thinking about children as authors, thinking about teenagers as authors, and thinking about ourselves as authors changes really the way we think about power. So a big theme in this class is how digital authorship changes power relationships between students and teachers, between students, and between students and the world they inhabit, right? So we're going to be thinking about authorship in a truly multimedia sense, right? And by definition, this course kind of crosses a bunch of boundaries. It turns out that people from a lot of different disciplines and fields have been interested in this idea of ordinary people being authors, right? And so we'll be looking at disciplinary perspectives from education, from communication and media studies, from writing and rhetoric, and in some ways trying to piece together how people from different walks of life have understood this concept of authorship in a digital age. Of course, we are going to challenge ourselves as authors ourselves, and that means this course is going to require some emotional competencies, because it takes confidence to be an author, and it takes tenacity to create something that you're proud of. And it takes risk-taking and experimentation. So to be an author, one has to be bold, right? And be willing to put one's ideas out for public scrutiny. And so there will be an emotional dimension to our experience of what that aspect of digital authorship entails. So it's a class where we'll be activating our cognition and our critical thinking, our heart, right? And our emotional engagement, and we'll be making things, with our hands. So the head, the heart, and the hands all going to be working together in this class. So I've identified a list of learning outcomes here that after the class is over, I would like you to review by identifying the one or two of these learning outcomes that are most important to you. These learning outcomes really do relate to the different ways that we're going to be learning and the different content that we're going to be learning. But for different people in the room tonight, different of these learning outcomes are going to be more or less important. So you may look forward to deepening an awareness of yourself as a literate individual and reflecting on your personal identity as a digital author. Or you may be really focused on strengthening your research, reading, critical analysis skills in a bunch of different ways. You may really be looking forward to cultivating your competencies as a digital author, or developing collaborative, organizational, problem-solving, and leadership skills. What I'd like you to do is kind of like rank order these learning outcomes for the top two. And next week I'll ask you about that, and that'll give me some ideas about how this course can help you, and how you see yourself as a learner in relation to this class. Okay, we have one required book and one strongly recommended book. The required book is Create to Learn. That's just fresh off the press from Wiley. I'm really excited about teaching with this book. I've been dreaming about teaching about this book for about 10 years. So it's like, oh, I finally get to do it. And then strongly recommended, but not required, is Copyright Clarity, How Fair Use Supports Digital Learning. You can choose to buy this book, and I hope you do. But if you don't, there'll be an alternative reading that will satisfy the expectation for that book. You can imagine how a course on digital authorship has to think about the strong rights of the owner. The United States has the strongest copyright protections of any country in the world. We give the strongest legal protection to authors. At the same time, now that we are involved in a participatory culture where the resources of the world are at our fingertips, users also have rights under our copyright law. And so we're going to learn a little bit about what our rights are as authors, what our rights are as users, and what our rights are when we remix using the works of other people, using other people's images and other people's video and other people's ideas in our own creative work, how we do that with integrity. So those are the two readings for the course. Let me just talk a little bit about the philosophy of the course, and then I'll pause and take questions, and then we'll talk about the assignments and the workload, and then I'll pause and take questions. So the philosophy of this course is based on the idea that you're responsible and a self-directed learner. That's, of course, assumed. Another key assumption is that you learn best by making and doing things, right? And that this course is really going to tap into that. And then a big part of this course is that we learn best as in a social way. We don't learn well alone. We learn as social people, especially when there's high levels of trust and respect. So we're going to try to create a learning community where there's a lot of trust and respect, and where we feel comfortable taking risks and sharing, because maybe that's how people learn best. Because it's an online course, we're going to use a lot of different tools. This video chat is going to be one of them. We're going to use threaded discussion, and we're going to use annotated video. But creating media is going to be a really big part of the learning experience. And you'll be making all different kinds of media this week. And then we won't just be making media, we'll be reflecting on our action. You know, that's what John Dewey said was the only way learning really could happen: action and reflection on action. But Many people are surprised that this course is on the open internet and not behind a walled garden like Blackboard, a Sakai, a Moodle, or Canvas. You know, I have a very strong feeling about this concept, and the concept itself is called open network learning. The idea is goes something like this. And I'll just stop sharing for a moment. So the idea behind open network learning goes something like this, which is when you learn using a content management system like Sakai or Moodle, you learn how to use the platform. But in the real world, in the world outside the classroom, you may not have access to that tool. You may not use that tool. So open network learning says, let's learn with the tools that are available in the world outside the classroom, right? Let's use the tools that are freely available. And then there should be good transfer between what we learned in the class and what we do in the world. So the philosophy of this class is really built on the idea that the skills that you're going to use in this class are going to transfer to other circumstances in your career and your professional life. So the primary locations where that happens, there's 3 primary locations. It's going to be our class blog, your own course blog, our closed Facebook group, and our use of Twitter. So primarily, that's where our dialogues and discussion will take place, right? So because this class is really not the kind of class that you just sit in the lecture and listen and take notes and then that's how you learn, you're going to be really doing a lot of activities. And so basically the class participation part of this class is completing activities that are designed to deepen your learning. That's why we suggest that you create about 6 to 9 hours of time to complete those reading, viewing, and other activities. We like the idea that students block out some time in your busy calendar to devote to the reading, viewing, and activity time. In this class, everything will be due on Wednesday at midnight, right? Everything will be due on Wednesday at midnight. So Wednesday is the day when it'll be expected that you will have completed projects and activities, right? But recognize that we're really appreciative of the fact that not everyone is at the same level of comfort with using technologies. And so you may never have made an infographic. You may not have created a podcast. It's possible some of you haven't made a screencast. Maybe some of you have not made an animated video yet. But that's okay. So wherever you are on your technology journey, that's the right place right now. And we're going to try to use peer-to-peer learning to help each other use some of these new technology tools. Okay. Yeah, give me a thumbs up if you've already got yourself to the Facebook page. Let me just check on the status of that. Thumbs up if you found the Facebook page and joined. Okay, many of you, not everyone. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate how to do that, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Give me a thumbs up if you've got a Twitter account. Yeah, baby, wonderful. Now, it's really important for me to talk about the fact that this thing that we're doing here with the Zoom is an optional activity. So this fully online class has this optional class. Actually, it's not on Mondays, right? We're probably going to do it on Wednesdays at 7, although we may do a little Google poll. Looks like it was a good time for most of you. So I like the idea of sticking to Wednesdays at 7. But But if you're unable to participate in the online class, the video for this that we're experiencing now will be posted on the class page for the week. And so in that case, you'll watch the video after the chat is finished, and then you'll answer some questions that are posted there, right? That help me to know that you are participating by following along with our chat room. Okay, before I talk about the assignments, let me pause to see if you have any questions at this time. We've just kind of been through some of the philosophy of the class and the guiding principles that the class is structured upon, but we haven't got to the nitty-gritty of the assignments yet. But you still might have questions. Barbara.
If we are participating in the weekly class, do you still want us to answer those questions?
No, because you will have talked plenty during this period of time. One of the things that's really cool about the Zoom is it really does approximate a seminar room. Sometimes we'll have small group discussions. Sometimes we'll have pair share activities. So you'll get plenty of talk time in and you won't need to do it. Oh, it's only if you miss this experience that answering the questions will be watching the video from start to finish and answering the questions. That'll be important then. Thanks for asking that question. I bet that was helpful. Jamie.
Great. Thank you.
So I have a question, and it's just how people are handling their online identities. I guess I'm starting to think about whether or not I need my personal Twitter and also a professional one. Do I need a professional and a school one that's separate from my professional one? How many of these should I create? And I'm just wondering how other people handle that.
Let's go around the room and talk a little bit about that. I've posted a short paragraph in the syllabus under what's public and what's private, because it is a kind of personal decision. But maybe we go around the room and people are thinking about that. Pat.
I'll jump in because I had to deal with this last summer at the Summer Institute. And I run the school Twitter account, and I had sort of kept them on two separate devices. My personal stuff was on my iPad, and my work one, the work school one, was on my phone. And now I'm running them both from my phone because you can toggle between more than one account. And I just switched my personal one to be professional. And I sort of went through and unfollowed some of my hobby things and shifted it more to educational things on that side. I got a new administrator who's really up on Twitter, so that also sort of bumped it up where there is school stuff, but I consider that still professional for that. So I have two I operate, but it was a big split for me originally.
Thanks for sharing. That's one way to handle it. Matthew.
So I have two Twitters as well. I started Twitter back when I was in high school, so I've had it for a while. And I decided to make a professional one. I keep my personal one private just because I have a lot of hobby stuff I follow. A lot of time I'm just retweeting comedians and stuff that my colleagues do not care about. So after the Summer Institute, I made a professional Twitter. Still growing. Follow me at Paiva Teach. Shameless plug. But yeah, still trying to grow that. And I like to keep the two worlds separate. Just what I like to do personally.
Thanks for sharing that. Any other philosophy on that topic? Yeah, it's kind of a personal decision, and what I think is really interesting is that it's okay that it changes over time. So you can make a decision now, Jamie, and then change your mind later. In the syllabus, I emphasize this idea that you will be producing work that's designed for a public audience in this class, and then you'll be producing work that's really only just designed for our group. And so I invite you, if you would like to make a pseudonym, that is absolutely fine. If you want to protect your identity in any way, I have total respect for that. So that's certainly an option for you in this class, right? So we have to have a conversation about that so you can let me know. Other questions so far that this raises for you? David.
Just a general question on the posting. Will you let us know, so all of our discussions are on Facebook, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to now do some demonstration and talk about the assignments, and that should make some of that a little bit more clear. Welcome, Tim. Hi, Tim. Okay, so let me just do this. I'm gonna share my screen with you. I'm not sure if I can do this right now. Hold on just a second. I'm gonna share my screen with you, and we're gonna go take a look at the.
Hi.
Hi, how are ya?
My name's Tim Stewart.
Hi, Tim. Welcome to the class.
Yeah, thanks. I just got home from work and I'm kind of eating, but I just wanted to pop in.
Eating is cool. We're glad you're here.
Cool.
So thanks for joining. So we've just kind of talked through the philosophy of the course, and now we're talking about the assignments. The assignments fall into 3 categories. First, there are 3 LEAP projects. These are production projects. You're going to be digital authors and you're going to make stuff, right? Each one's worth 100 points. Some are collaborative and some are individual projects. Their class participation is worth 300 points. That's about 20 points per week. Every week after reading and viewing or engaging on hands-on learning, you're going to do things to demonstrate your learning, and that reflection is a graded class participation activity, right? And sometimes I will comment on that work, sometimes I won't comment on that work, but that's part of the way you move through the rich content and ideas that we're going to be trying to unpack a little bit. The big project, of course, is a final paper, creative project, or curriculum project. And here you have a lot of flexibility. You basically can develop your own project that reflects your professional career and work interests. It might be, you can work individually or with a partner. It's good if you can design a project that addresses the nexus of your personal interests and your career interests. And it can be a bunch of things. It could be a research paper. It could be creating a curriculum. It could be developing a creative project. Wow. Okay. And as we move through the course, I'll give you some more specific guidance. It's really important that you develop a project that is doable in just 6 weeks. And if you do develop a curriculum project or a creative project, you'll submit the product and a little writing about the process, right? That makes sense. And if you write a scholarly paper, well, it'll be appropriate that you plan to create that as a conference paper or for a scholarly journal. And for all of you, you'll create a 5 or 6 minute video ignite. That's a pa-cha-ka-cha, and that'll describe your project in a kind of persuasive screencast format. So in some ways, we now, I guess I want to say this piece right here. Of course, I've talked about the idea of what's public and private, but I haven't really talked about this idea that you will be using other people's copyrighted work in your own work. And so we have a policy on plagiarism, copyright, and fair use. You'll get more confidence as you learn about how to evaluate when your use of copyrighted materials is lawful. Obviously, we're going to tackle that as a specific topic in this class. So the expectation is you're able to comfortably know how to incorporate other people's ideas in your own work. You can see that the way that the course schedule is designed is that each week has a topic, a guiding question, a week date. This January 29th is, the date always starts on Monday, even though although I said everything is due on Wednesday. Right? So next week we're going to be doing some reading, and you're going to be creating a blog and writing your first blog post. And as you can see, we move through the course doing a bunch of cool activities each week, different kinds of projects on really cool topics, right? Like identity in a digital age, the power of creative collaboration, the ethics of representation, digital storytelling, transformativeness, and how we build upon the creative work of others. And then the last month of the class, when you're working on your projects, you see we're not engaging in collaborative reading, right? Beginning April 9th, you are intensively focused on your creative project, and you'll have a creative team partner to bounce ideas off of, and you'll have deliverables every week to keep you toward your goal. But that's really the structure of the class. We have about 10 weeks of shared reading, viewing, discussing, talking about ideas, and making things, and then an intense period of making at the very, very end. Okay, so now it's another period for questions. What questions do you have now after seeing really the whole syllabus?
I'm not getting any volume.
Uh-oh. What questions do you have now after taking a look at the whole syllabus? Any questions lingering in your mind?
Sorry, this is Dave again. I had my mic mute. When will you post the stuff on the digital authorship web page for us to like kind of see the stuff?
Good show. What a perfect question, David, because that's exactly what I'm going to show you right now.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Every Wednesday, a new page will open, which will give you I like this, David, because you're in the military, your marching orders for next week. Get it? Get it? Whew. I've never been able to use that in a literal way, but thank you for giving me that opportunity. So you can see up here at the top, right? We are in week 1, introduction to the course. So let's take a look at what you're going to do for next week, because here's the list of class participation activities that I'd like you to do for next week. Okay. This is the agenda for our face-to-face meeting. We haven't yet talked about Facebook. We'll save that for a little bit later. Here are the class participation activities that I'd like you to complete before next Wednesday. First, introduce yourself on the Digital Authorship Facebook discussion group in relation to your identity as a digital author. You might review the checklist on the Create to Learn, page 14, if the book arrives in time for you to do that. Do you have any ideas already about what you might want to create as part of your learning experience? Because you'll have some choice, right? So you'll reflect on your identity as a digital author. And let's go to that Facebook page right now and see what it actually looks like. So I'm using Facebook this year for the first time. I'm not a big Facebook user. And so one of the things that I'm doing in this course is I'm creating a lot of challenge for myself as a co-learner, right? I'm not an expert on Facebook. I've never used it for educational purposes, but we'll learn together, right? And maybe we'll abandon it if it turns out it's terrible and we hate it, right? But we'll figure it out. So right now, we have 15 members who have joined this group, right? And so it looks like there we all are. And if you don't see your name on this list, then you'll want to go to the link on the first page and click on that link and get an invitation to join. But the basic idea of the sharing is kind of already here. Due Wednesday, January 31st, introduce yourself in relation to your identity as a digital author. So you might want to start by just putting your comment here. Put your comment here. These days, my digital identity as a digital author, I'm really, really focused on podcasting. Ooh, podcasting is interesting and scary. And I might say more about that, but I've started it off, right? So this space we're going to try to use as our sharing space, right, for our discussion. If you haven't already filled out the poll, giving me your thoughts and feelings about how you feel about using Facebook as a tool for learning, that'd be great. Maybe you'll give it the college try, think it's going to be magical, think, yikes, or rah, if I have to. Whatever you decide is cool, we're going to be talking about it for a while, right? So a place of discussion, I've started us off. I've shared with you an invitation. Is there a better time than Wednesday at 7 o'clock? If you click on the doodle poll, we'll see. Maybe we can make sure all 18 students can join if we find a better date. And check out my first podcast. Ready? Okay, watch my first podcast. Oh, I'm so proud.
School of Communication and Media at the University of Rhode Island. This graduate level course is fully online, and it's offered as part of the graduate certificate in digital literacy. This semester, I'm excited to be able to offer this course really for the first time using my new book, Create to Learn, an introduction to digital literacy, which is published by Wiley Blackwell Press in 2017. So we're going to be exploring a whole lot of ways to use the power of digital authorship, including, of course, podcasting. And so that's why I'm experimenting with this free, easy-to-use podcasting tool called Anchor. And I think you're going to like it. So thanks for being part of the digital authorship course. If you want to learn more about the course, please check out our website at www.digitalauthorship.org. Again, this is Renee Hobbs, and thanks for listening.
Okay, so
Yay.
woohoo! Well, let me just say, I'll tell you where the learning was for me. Considering the relationship between spoken and written prose, right? Because first you make the podcast and then it automatically creates the translation, but it's not very good. And so you have to tweak it. And I thought, oh, this would be fascinating for very young children to think about the relationship between spoken. So I was thrilled to see my elementary teachers and librarians thinking, oh, can we learn about the relationship between spoken and written prose and study that and think more strategically about it? Because it got me thinking about it just making that little video. Okay, so you got the concept that really we're going to try to see if we can find a space on this. Like I said, because I'm doing it for the first time, you may have ideas about how we could do this better. If you're a Facebook user and you're a pro, we will welcome your suggestions about how we might make better use of Facebook for strategic communication purposes. Okay, any questions about that?
Renee.
Yeah.
On the Facebook group, or should I say Professor Hobbs?
Renee.
On the Facebook group, if I clicked to join, do you okay the people to come in?
Exactly right.
Okay.
That's
right,
how it works.
I'm pending at the moment.
Oh, good. Let's see if I can. So I'm gonna share my screen with you, and then let's see if we can see if I can learn how to do that. Right. So I go to members.
Yeah.
And I am looking for. Oh, here are my suggested members, invited members. Find a member. How am I going to find? Oh, maybe manage group.
Maybe.
Member requests.
That's me.
Member requests. Oh, look at that. And there's a little 1 next to it. Good show.
No.
That's not you.
No. Is there any more?
Angie Hartley, PVD Yoga, approved your request, Adam.
Oh, look at that.
Love it. This is a non-hierarchical group. You all have the Power. You have the power. Bravo, my friend. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go back to the page, the course page, and look at what we're going to be doing next. All right, so give me a thumbs up if you can still see that screen. Okay, good show. So we just went through this one, the first one. Next one, we're going to use Video Ant. Thumbs up if you've used Video Ant before. Yeah, it's so cool. First, establish a Video Ant account. If you don't already have one, then access the video How to Be Creative by PBS Digital Studios on the Video Ant, and take notes as you watch to identify at least 3 key ideas, then compose a response in the Video Ant that includes both a summary of the ideas and a response to it. Let's take a look. So I think I've already established my account, so it remembers me, right? We'll watch the first minute, and then we'll practice, okay? Let's begin.
What is creativity? It is such a difficult question.
We're finding that it's not just a simple left brain, right brain distinction.
Working collaboratively is absolutely a summation of perspectives. And as more and more things get made that way, it will always be beneficial.
I think creativity, for the most part, is a very messy affair. This notion that it's coming from nowhere, I think, is false.
Okay, so I'll make a comment here about the hook. Okay, I am noticing right away this is a typical PBS opening, right? I mean, I've been watching PBS for 30 years, right? In so many ways. It's a montage of artists and voices. Oh, and my typing is a mess here, but I'll clean it up eventually. And it's previewing some of the ideas that will come next. Yeah, I'd say I might say something about the music, right? Because that music feels a little bit, get that sense of the unexpected. So I'm going to make some notes for myself here about what I want to save. So we're annotating the video by watching carefully, identifying ideas that are meaningful to us, and then doing a piece of writing that summarizes and analyzes. Give me a thumbs up if you feel comfortable with that project. Right? That's going to be fun, right? Okay, so what's next? Step 3, create a blog. Create a blog or use an existing, oh, what happened there? Create a blog or use an existing blog. Sometimes students ask me, can I use an existing blog that I used in a previous class? What do you think the answer to that is? Yes, go right ahead, right? Just make sure that by next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, you've got a blog, a URL that has an About the Author page, a page that says Leap 1, Leap 2, Leap 3, and Final Project. Make that be in place, and then once you have that URL, establish a Twitter account or tweet the URL. Okay? What's going to happen is something like this. On our digital authorship page, right now we've got a class roster, and there's no hyperlinks at all, right? We've got this beautiful class roster, which has the names of the students who are involved in the class, but I can't get to your blog. So when you tweet the URL with the hashtag EDC534, I'll copy the URL and I'll link it so that Jamie's blog will be available 1 click away from this page. Angie's blog will be 1 click away. Sherry Jackson's blog will be 1 click away. And what's cool about that is that we'll be able to read and comment on each other's ideas, right, in this way. Okay? So this is the page that will link to your own personal blogs, right? Okay, so now we've just finished create a blog and tweet. Finally, we get to do some reading. Woohoo! Okay, the last two activities, we're reading 2 authors. Hopefully the book will come in time and you will get to read. Where my book just disappeared. Oh, you know, it is very late at night here, and I didn't want to say anything, but you know, it's kind of late here in Europe. But there, I put the book on the floor. So we're going to read the first 3 chapters of this and chapter 7, right? So we have about 50 pages of reading from Create to Learn. And then we have a really interesting short essay by David Buckingham, one of the leading British media education scholars of the 20th century, called Defining Digital Literacy, What Do Young People Need to Know About Digital Media? So you click on the link and it opens up to that scholarly journal article, right? After you read both, I'd like you to comment on the readings. Consider one or more of the questions below and compose a 250 word to 500 word response. So that's 1 to 2 typed pages. So not too very long. Share your response to the readings on your blog. You might consider asking or exploring the question, what are some of the different meanings of the term digital literacy? Which of the concepts from media literacy might apply to the current problem we have with the rise of so-called fake news? Why is digital writing important to Buckingham? Why is it important to Hobbs? What's the most quotable quote from each author and why do you like it? And what issues or questions do Hobbs and Buckingham raise without developing fully? Okay, so a comment on your blog will be your first blog post for this class. So those 7 activities represent basically your class participation for this week. Now it's
does this comment go on that Leap 1 page?
Nope. The comment goes on.
I missed that.
Yeah, sorry about that. The comment goes on a blog post. So,
okay.
So blogs are organized with pages and posts.
Mm-hmm.
So posts happen in sequential order from the most recent to the least recent. And pages are like fixed, static web pages. So your LEAP projects will be on pages.
Yep.
And your informal writing will be on posts.
All right.
Really glad you asked that question. Really glad you asked that question. What other questions do you have? Okay. So now we get a little discussion. What do you think? We're just starting this crazy Facebook idea. What do you think might be some of the pros or cons to using a closed Facebook group for academic dialogue? What do you anticipate or expect might be some of the advantages or disadvantages?
So you mean closed versus open, or?
Yeah. The page that the group that we've created is a closed group, so only we can see it. But I wonder, just this whole idea of using Facebook for academic dialogue, what do you think might be some possible advantages, and what might be some possible disadvantages?
One of the advantages is, for me and my generation, it's the social media I use the most. So I'm already familiar with the platform, so that helps me. I like the idea of using it more for professional topics, though, too, because there's so much expertise in this little room that I think we could spread.
So you see some advantages. Other people want to weigh in on this. What are your expectations about advantages, possible advantages, or possible disadvantages? Who's next?
I was going to say, even though I'm not in the generation the same generation as Pad. It is a more familiar format than, you know, maybe some other. So that's good. I like the fact that it's closed because it just gives you a little more security about the things that you might put out there. And I think it'll work.
Okay, then there's another pretty optimistic perspective. Other perspectives?
I think it's a good idea because the usability, Facebook's been around for a while, and they're constantly updating with the usability in mind, so it's easy to navigate, etc. Whereas if you've ever tried to play around with Sakai, it can get hairy at times.
Nicely put. Other perspectives, we don't know how it's going to go. We don't know whether it will support our learning or not. So we are almost like, I'm asking you to kind of use your imagination, and maybe we could even think like, what could go wrong? Because we've heard pretty optimistic ideas here. Everybody sort of saying, yeah, this could work, but it could go wrong. Yeah, Jamie. Microphone. Unmute your microphone.
Yeah. Sorry about that. For me, I tend to be pretty linear. And so I see it kind of all over the place on Facebook. And for me, that's a little bit harder to wrap my brain around and put in the order that makes sense to me.
I am with you all the way on this. I don't like the fact that I can't move the things around in order. I don't like that at all. So I'm with you on that. And I think the page is cluttered with stuff I don't want there. So I'm with you on that, Jamie. Thank you for sharing that perspective. I feel like that might be.
I agree with Jamie.
Yeah, tell me more, Adam.
It is cluttered because it's a free service. I just find that, like, you know, you have a lot of just things in the margins, ads or related pages and stuff, and just a lot. It it's not very. I like clean websites. I like things that's just like, here's what you're reading, or here's what you're seeing, or here's what you're posting, and it's just very clean, like a Padlet or like a blog. That's like just very austere in its presentation.
Yeah, and this is certainly not that. Other perspectives, what do you think might be great?
I'm thinking about the permanence. It's like a double-edged sword. It's great that we'll be able to go back and visit this indefinitely until like robots crash Facebook or whatever. But also the permanence of it is a little scary too. Like, am I gonna say something that I don't want to be revisited? Or I know you can't really delete anything from Facebook, and somebody could find it. So.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, I have a slender understanding of what does it mean to say that it's a closed Facebook group, but you're right. It's living on servers somewhere. And I'm not really sure what closed means, right? I'm sort of trusting Facebook that closed means it's not findable unless we grant permission. But even still, it's permanent. So that's a great observation. So
I want to add to that, Renee.
Yeah.
I was wondering along the same lines, what kind of agreements are understood that we're making by participating?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's a really great observation because the Facebook terms of agreement say that you own all the intellectual property that you post up on it, but that Facebook has the right to use that content to improve their service, which often means to sell you things, right? So I wonder, as you post in this closed group, how might that affect what happens on your Facebook page? I wonder. So we might keep our radar screen up about that, right? Really glad you raised that issue. Thanks so much. Other perspectives on what do you anticipate you might love or hate about using a Facebook group for our discussion and dialogue?
Well, I think one thing to expand on what we've been talking about is the possibility that we might not feel that we can be completely honest now. So we could maybe in the 80 to 90% of the openness that we might ordinarily kind of use in a classroom setting, that we may be filtering ourselves possibly without even realizing it.
Self-censorship, what a great point. It's a good thing that it's certainly the case that how we talk in a classroom with the door closed is a different thing than how we're even talking here on Zoom, right? And how we might use other digital media. Really glad you raised that question. Thanks so much. Now, we haven't really talked about how we're going to be using Twitter yet. And right now, at least for this part of the course, we're just using Twitter to post our URLs. So that's my only expectation now, but over time, we'll start to use Twitter for a range of different purposes. But now our time is up, right? We're trying to keep our Zoom meeting to just 1 hour, and I'm already gone 5 minutes over, darn it. I'm so sorry about that. So we're gonna say goodbye. If you have questions between now and next Wednesday when I see you again at 7 o'clock, remember how you can reach me by calling me on my cell phone or tweeting me. But we'll start a tradition this week that we'll do every week. Every week we'll say goodbye with a unique and special wave. And this week, our special wave will be the Queen Elizabeth wave. Goodbye, everyone. It's been nice having you in digital authorship. I'm Renee Hobbs. These are the amazing students of EDC 534. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
See you next week.
And good night.
Bye.